Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the charts behind me. So I got a couple requests from a comment, one being Bitcoin and another being Tesla. So I will go over those. And Tesla, or actually Bitcoin, was requested again by Chestad in the chat. So how's it going? And yeah, so I'll go over those and let's see. Um, yeah, I don't know that I have really many updates. I guess the thumbnail, I was hoping Ed, the chimpanzee, would be a little cuter, but that was like, the best one I could get with the yellow wig. And yeah, I just have to say, happy inauguration day, whoever you guys voted for. If you're American, if you're not, I just hope it's an exciting, a good year's moving forward. And with that, I've got, a regular beverage here, but I got one that's a little bit special for that. Really, uh, not being into politics or anything like that, but just hoping the best for the country, and excited to see what happens. And personally, I'm really excited about the steps that we might be making towards getting out into the stars, going to Mars. It's just been I feel like a really kind of disheartening like 50 years, really since we got to the moon. We haven't really, done that much. And that was, with technology from the 60s. So I think that there's a lot that we can accomplish. I think there's a lot that we're going to see. And this is kind of a joke, but I thought it'd be funny. I don't know if you guys can see what's on this. It's probably backwards for you guys. But this is a little shot glass from Greenland, which I got in Nuuk, which is the capital. It's spelled Nuuk. And yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with it. I think strategically for the US, that could be a really good move. I think that for Denmark, or sorry, for Greenland, I think that it could be a really good move for them because I know there's a lot of contention. I don't know if that's a word, between them and Denmark, that they, want their independence, but don't necessarily have the foundation or the kind of infrastructure that would be needed to be so independent, as my understanding. And I think that they could potentially have some more independence with whatever negotiations with the U.S. So curious about that, and cheers to you guys and the start of another short week in 2025 for the markets. Oh yeah, and happy Martin Luther King Day. Hopefully you guys were able to take a minute to reflect and think about the progress that we've made over the past half a century. But yeah, cheers to you guys. And and that was apple juice, if you're curious. I'm just kidding. But yeah, here's cheers to the regular bevy. All right. So let's look at Bitcoin real quick. And Saul, let's see. What's up? How's it going? What are my thoughts on the EV market under Trump? So I got Tesla up here. If there are other EV tickers you'd like me to go over, let me know in the chat. I'll start by going over Bitcoin a little bit. I do think the chart is better in TradingView than Webull, but I've just done this kind of like more shorter term outlook on the chart here in Webull. And so, you can kind of see it here. I think the opens and closes, though, in Webull are not UTC. So this may look a little bit different. And actually, I might as well just, let's see, open it up. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know why. This should be UTC. And I need to get it so it shows, where the price is over here. Let's see. I just need to symbols trading status line. Let's see. Yeah, I removed it for making a video. Maybe on the canvas. No, I'm not going to mess with it. Anyways, the current price is right around here, 101,000. But we do have this big wick here that, does translate from the way that time is kept here versus, what we see over here. So it's a little bit annoying, but yeah, so what I would imagine is that this is East Coast time. Maybe I could just change the settings on this um, because I should have everything on East Coast time for the charts, but I would think that for Bitcoin it would be different because it's a different market. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, I mean, so this is, a new, actually, wait. No, this is the same day because it would be East Coast time because it's like right after 9 p.m. now. Whereas in TradingView, I think an hour ago was the new day in Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, so it looks a little bit different. So we've moved on to this other candle here, but we got this big wick regardless up to 109,000. And so I think that this could be pulling back some. And actually, I just retweeted this. I was kind of late to it, but let's see. Oh yeah, so El Capo of crypto. I like his stuff a lot. He's pretty quiet. He uh, was waiting for a bottom in Bitcoin that we did not hit, and the result of that and Gareth Soloway's outlook on it going lower, I did not establish a position as aggressively as I should have, sooner than I should have, but I learned a good way to dollar cost average that works for me. But anyways, I think he's a good person to follow. He doesn't post that much. But he wrote, this was 13 hours ago, so I was a little late to repost it. But so potential last 5 to 15% shakeout before the up-only season begins. Just don't get shaken out. So, I think that we're, getting into alt season. This is the year after the halving cycle. I've talked about it. I think it's going up more. And then so I was just saying, place those limit dip buys. And, I do daily Bitcoin and Doge buys that are very small. Bitcoin's effectively retirement for me. Dogecoin is, I will sell some at some point. And actually, I kind of trim a little bit every month for 2025. But I have my the amount that I want, and I don't really plan on trimming aggressively until around May. Ethereum, with the Trump coin and Melania and stuff, that got me feeling a little bit of, man, I should have established, a Solana position earlier, and also thinking about that with Cardano or ADA and XRP. But I didn't do that, and the reason for that is the hardware wallet that I have cannot hold those coins. And so I feel like that's just been a nice way to kind of, limit what I expose myself to. But then in thinking about Solana, it's like, well, I really don't have that much ETH. So I should probably build up some more ETH while it's down, and it tends to kind of lag. So good opportunity to add to that. And then once I feel like that's big enough, then, maybe I could start to get some Solana, XRP, and Cardano. That's probably the order I would do them in. But let's see. So from this chart, if we do see whatever, a 5% pullback, let's see, maybe I could just, I don't want that tool. I want this tool. So like 5 to 15%. 15 could be coming down to 93. So that's something to keep in mind. We can do a retracement from the low here. And this is also the levels that are listed in Webull tend to be a little bit off from what's on TradingView. So I don't know how good they are, but from this, let's see, do I get that? Yep. We see the 786 is around 93,500. If I add, let's see, the 618, that's around 97,000. The 50%, that's around 99,000. So if we dip to any of those levels, from what I understand from what he's posting over here, and just thinking about market psychology and stuff, and really like just like when Bitcoin sold off over here, that was a pretty quick drop down to 89,000 and then back up. And so if we start to come down, I think that it's dip buying levels anywhere below 100,000. There's also this yellow downtrend that I have drawn here. And so that could be coinciding with anywhere between, 100,000 down to around 96,000. And so I have to say for myself, I'm a pretty small fish, as I'm sure you guys know, but I did place a limit buy for Bitcoin in my Robinhood account at 99.9 thousand, I think, just to get $9.99 more of it. And, if that gets filled, then I can reassess, reevaluate, and get lower. But yeah, I mean, I think coming down to 100,000, maybe flushing lower, really this level right, that I have marked here, it's 94,000, or this purple level, that's, let's see, 92.6 thousand, coming back to the low that was hit on, I believe, November 25th, but the days could be a little bit off here. But yeah, so I think that we're potentially in dip buying territory, and actually the way that this is charted, we can see that we do have a higher high in the coin price here, the new high there, but that does correspond with, let's see, a lower high in the RSI down here. So that is bearish divergence. So if it comes down to like 97,000, that's a 618. I think that's going to be, the next bottom. And if it goes lower than that, 93 and a half, 93, 92, somewhere around there. And also, I don't really pay attention to these too much. We've got the 200-day moving average here in orange and the 100-day moving average here in blue. And maybe, that's going to be getting up to here. I could probably add, let's see, a 50-day. That's going to be in pink. It's probably too high, but that would suggest, getting to around 98,000 is the level over here. So I feel like a wick down to 97, maybe an order wouldn't get filled, but that seems reasonable to me. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that's helpful for you guys. And let's see. I'm just gonna say, let's see. Okay, catching up on the chat. So, what are my thoughts on the EV market under Trump? And so SABS and ATPC. So I'll add those to the list. SABS is SAB Biotherapeutics. That is not an EV stock. And ATPC, that is, I'm not sure. And let's see. And Chris with a K, what's up? Would I mind looking at XCN? I'll throw it up here for sure. XCN. Let me know, is that emerging markets ex China ETF? Is that what you're talking about? I have it as XCNY. So I'll add that. Let me know if that's correct, if it's XCNY. But I will look XCN, see if there's something else in here. It's just these other ones are numbered. So hopefully it's XCNY, Emerging Markets Ex China ETF. And since a few more of you joined, in case you missed it, I did cheers earlier with, I don't know if you can see it, it's probably backwards for you guys, a Greenland shot glass. I got that in Nuuk, Greenland, which is the capital. And yeah, I was there in 2021. And but I already drank that, so I'll cheers to you guys with this one. Happy Monday, happy Martin Luther King Day, happy Inauguration Day. Wherever you guys sit, I just hope the best for the country. And I have to say personally, I'm just really excited about Elon Musk's involvement and I feel like we will see like I will see in my lifetime. I don't know how old everybody is. I feel like I've talked to my parents about, I think that they could see someone walking on Mars, a human on Mars. And I just feel like that's so exciting and so inspiring. And I don't necessarily regret this, but I feel like I should have pursued a career in engineering. But I think one of the reasons why or maybe an influence in why I did not or was less interested in doing that is because I thought it would just be like, sitting down, working on a bunch of problems and not really getting too hands on with stuff. But now it's like, I mean, we're getting hands on with stuff. Like we're launching rockets, we're catching rockets. And so I just think that there's so much to be inspired by right now. And I am kind of like envious of children of today because I think that they can really shoot for the stars, or at least, the nearby planets, potentially moons. I wonder if is it Ion or Eon, or I don't know the moons of, is it Jupiter or Saturn? I don't know the planets that well in their moons, but Europa is one of them. Anyways, I will continue on, and XCN is crypto. Okay, so I will put that on the trading view over here, but I'll go over the other ones that were requested first, and then I'll come over to here. So actually, maybe I'll just do this real quick. Okay, so this has gone up a lot, so fairly risky, especially if Bitcoin's possibly pulling back, which I was just talking about from over here. Like if Bitcoin pulls back maybe another 5%, maybe 10% more, that altcoins would be going down a lot lower. So with this having just moved up this much, I'd say it's probably very risky. But with that being said, this has moved up and it does look like it's consolidating. So I'd say I would look for it to hold above 0.8 cents, 0.84 cents. Because, we have had, this candle to there, wick down to there. And so it'd be nice if it held above that. If it doesn't, I'm just going to go from the low here. And sorry if you guys are waiting for me to go over other stocks. I'll just do this one quickly. But if I do just a Fibonacci retracement, I think that's what I should have here. Just going from that low up to the high here. Oh. I should have... I should have moved this. So, crap. I'm just going to redraw it because I screwed it up. Okay, so just line it up like this, that low, and do it so the numbers aren't right over. And so, yeah, I guess pretty similar to that 0.84 cents is going to be right around 0.8 cents. That's the 382. But it's quite possible it could come down to 0.6 cents. That'd be the 50% retracement, or the 786 that's the 50% retracement, the 618 down to the 65%. That's the golden pocket. That would be coming down to around 0.420 cents up to like 0.45 cents. So maybe that, but I feel like it would probably find support at either around 80 cents or 60 cents. And then if that were to be the case, we could do a Fibonacci extension, going from like the same low over here, then up to the high. And then let's say it pulls down to the 50% retracement. That's the around 0.6 cents. Then we could get an idea of where it could go to the upside, looking at the 100% extension. So that's basically the same distance from the low here to the high, taking that measurement from whatever low it goes to, and then up. That would be getting it to around 6.5 cents. So going from where it's currently trading right now, I need to have this, I think I need to, this is on the log scale, I guess I should note. Move scale to left, labels, symbol name, last price label. There we go. I've got that. And I'll do the last price line as well. Cool. I added that there. I feel accomplished. So yeah, from like 1.3 cents, potentially going up to 6.5 cents. But if I do adjust the scale to linear, that would suggest getting up to 2 cents. But I feel like, and actually, yeah, because that might actually be more like a better way to look at this because it's not going back to like prior cycles. But let's say, the log is, a little bit more exciting if it were to go up to 65 cents. So maybe 50 cents. Maybe that's a good target. That will be getting above the 786, but not quite to the 100% extension. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. XCN. And then now I will come back to, hopefully that was correct. XCN ONYX, Onyx coin. And then so now I will go over to Tesla because that's an EV stock that because Saul was requesting EV stocks. Saul, if you want me to go over to ChargePoint, I could do that as well. Because I recall you also being in ChargePoint. And but yeah, with Tesla, I feel like it's just going to go up. And it looks like overnight trading is up about 1.7%. I don't know if you can see it just above the cursor there. It's trading around $434. The high over here is 488. If I switch over to the 10-minute time frame, we can see that, yeah, I don't know. I'm not used to charting overnight stuff with Webull. But yeah, it says the highest 428, so this has to only be showing the normal pre-market and after-hours pricing. But yeah, I mean, with Tesla, I think that this is just going to go insanely higher. I think I've talked about having just one share, but at a price of 185. So I bought down here on August 5th. And I would like to get, let's say, probably, I think 1/10 or maybe a quarter, probably 1/10 of a share. So pretty lame at around, I don't know. I think I was thinking maybe I got the alert here at 360, but I don't know that's going to happen. And it does look like, I mean, I can draw this in a number of different ways. So from the high here to, so there are no closes above this level. It does look like it's kind of broken out, but maybe, we're getting rejected here, possibly. But I think that this is going to go higher. And so I could see, let's see, from the, this is the earnings. Wow, I bought over here. I'm proud of myself. Yeah, so let's do a retracement from here, or an extension, to see where price might be taking us. If, we're going from here up to this high and then down to this low, probably be an approximate. Maybe I got that lined up right. I don't know. And we could just, just like what I was going over in TradingView, we could see where the 100% is. $680. That's crazy. I'm never selling my share. And I will only get my average down if we come down to 360, I buy a 1/10 of a share because I don't want to get my average up, but I'd be happy to add a little bit more there, thinking that, there would be a split at some point, and then whatever fractions of a shares I would get would become whole. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is probably going to eclipse $488.54. I think that things are going to be really bullish for Tesla and EV related stocks, I imagine. And also like tech stocks related to EVs, like Luminar. I talk about them every once in a while, just because, or I should say autonomous related stocks, because I think that there's just going to be, through cutting of regulations, we'll be able to make a lot of progress forward with that stuff. and also, with just needing to build up the like EV network in the country as far as charging stations go. I think that there will be a push for that. And yeah, but also we're going to be doing the drill baby drill stuff. So maybe that EVs take a little bit of a hit because of that. But generally, I'm very optimistic for the year of 2025. I think it's going to be a really good year for the market. And so I think Tesla will be breaking above the highs. I think that 2025 is going to be synonymous with 2021, which was, a bull year, a bullish year, also with Bitcoin, with crypto. And so, yeah, I feel really good about Tesla. And let's see. Okay, and so Chris with a K. I'll come back to XCN, but I will look at it at the later time frame. And then Saul was also saying ChargePoint. And so I'll probably come back to ChargePoint because was Saul requesting these other ones? Yes, Saul was requesting these other ones. So I'll look at ChargePoint real quick. And so I think yeah, I don't know. In the options video that I just did, I went over ChargePoint. I might pull up some of the options data. Just, let's see, out of curiosity. And so I'm going to type in ChargePoint here. I think it's probably just like there's not enough. Yeah, like with the, so this is like I've been looking at the net call and put premium. I've been like learning how to digest this information a little bit better. And so like with ChargePoint, you see like the volume going up here in green. And so that means that more contracts, whether calls or puts, are being bought. And then what you see in the data, so the yellow is the stock price that came down on Friday. What you see is the net put premium came down, but that came down. It dropped by, it looks like 50.79 thousand. So that's really not a lot of money. There's just not that much money behind, like a stock trading around $1. So it's kind of tough to get an idea of what's going on with it. And but you see the net call premium went up a little bit, just less than 2,000, so pretty negligible. But what you see is net call premium is positive, net put premium is negative, so that means more calls are being bought, that's good, and more puts are being sold, that's good as well. And then you see more volume here, and so that suggests that while the net put premium is going down, it's going down because fewer yet expensive contracts, so smaller volume, larger premium contracts going down. Whereas with the calls, smaller amount of premium going up, but a lot more of those contracts. And generally, you want to buy contracts when they're cheap. You want to sell them when they're expensive. And so this could be a bottoming signal. But if we do look at it on the 7-day time scale, it's really, there's nothing that really jumps out at me other than, on the 14th, we see this spike in net call premium going up. That's up to 72,000. But if we look at, the net, and the net put premium going down the day before, that's negative 91,000. So, when we see these days, so like this is a bearish day on the 8th. So just behind Ed's head there, I don't know if you can see it. That is the 8th right there. And so we have net put premium in red going up, so that's bearish. Net call premium in green going negative, that's bearish. So that doesn't look so good, but there's also not that much volume traded on that day. And then so this next day on the 10th, net put premium goes negative, so that's bullish. Net call premium's more or less flat. This, you see net put premium go pretty negative, 91,000 negative. But you also see call premium go negative, but only 2,500. So this is net, bullish. This is net bullish. This is kind of neutral, but leaning bullish. This is bullish. And this is bullish. And then if you look at the little bear to bull slider here, 56% for Friday was more on the bull side. And then, so it's about 126,000 on the bullish side, about 75,000 on the bearish side, 26,000 neutral. So yeah, I mean, this makes me think it could be forming a bottom. It's just there's not that much money behind it. Like, getting into millions, not like million, but like lots of millions, that's when things become really clear. But it kind of makes me think that, well, it sucks that we swept the lows here from November 21st, which were, $1.05, because we hit these lows of $1.02 over last week. That doesn't seem so great. Putting in lower lows, maybe this is a bear flag, with a downside move and consolidation. But looking at the options data, it does seem like puts are being sold and calls are being bought. And so that makes me think that this is a bottom signal, sweeping the lows here and potentially holding. We did have a couple days where we closed below this uptrend that I drew here. So that doesn't look so good, but that could be like, a fake outbreak to scare people out of their positions at the bottom. And then this starts to really move up. And so I think that we're going to see a lot of, like pro-business moves. And I think that, I think that things probably, I feel like things will be good for EVs with the new administration, with Elon, whether his role with the Department of Government Efficiency will have an effect on this, or really just that, he will be close to Trump. I think that things will be beneficial for the EV sector, for Tesla. And with that, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so I think that could benefit ChargePoint. I think that could benefit Rivian, other stocks like that, Luminar, even though, LiDAR is a competitor with Tesla's, self-driving. We don't just have seatbelts. We don't just have airbags. We have both. And so the more redundancy that we have with safety in vehicles, I think that will be better. I did a video on that with Luminar, which is probably kind of just me rambling, going over spreadsheets, but I feel like, we might be doing this, but a little late to the game. And I should mention the calls that I have. I do plan on exiting those as soon as I break even, just because, shares one thing for a stock like ChargePoint that's trading around $1. Options, not enough data behind them for me to want to be putting my money on them. So I'm not going to be doing that, but shares, yeah. And so for me, I just very passively add on dips. And I think last week I added at 108, I think probably just 10 shares, a very small amount. But then, it's just, I can do that fairly passively, not get emotional about it. And then so for this week, I think I have a limit for 10 more shares at 105. And with it being at 108, I think that'll get filled, and I just add a little bit more. Nothing too crazy though. I'm not trying too aggressively to get my average down with ChargePoint, which is around 250, I believe. But yeah, I think it'll be a good year for them. That's a lot of rambling though. Hey Benjamin, what's up? And I also see Greg there in the chat. Thank you for the George is saying thank you. Greg, sorry, I was reading George. Greg is saying, thank you for the previous video on Mara. I am holding some of the crypto miners. Cool. Among some other stocks from different sectors. Yeah, so for me, it's like, I kind of got that call, the March call for Mara, that I don't need to dive into it too much, but I kind of got that call a little bit out of FOMO and just, why not? But I kind of broke my rule with that, and I like contracts to be at least 6 months out. Definitely not establishing one that's 3 months out. And so I kind of did that, kind of broke that rule. And it's just everybody is different. Everybody manages their emotions differently. And for me, I've just gotten contracts. Oh, I think that this stock's going to go up a month from now, but to be safe, I'll get a contract that expires in 2 months. But then a month goes by and it just has bled. And then I, just it's going to go to zero. So I sell at a loss and then it goes up. I'm not, for me, the way that I manage my emotions and the way that I manage risk around contracts that can expire to zero, the March was too soon for me, so I lost some money on that, which is no big deal, part of the process. But I'm stoked about the January calls, and maybe I'll pull it up real quick, just the chart. I don't know if there's after hours trading on that, or overnight trading. I think that there could be some resistance here, and I was just talking about how, it's possible that Bitcoin could be coming down to like sub 100K. Who knows? When the market opens, I think that you'll kind of get an idea. I think that there'll probably be a rush into Bitcoin because of everything that Trump was doing over the weekend, and now that we have our first Bitcoin president. And just listening to Fred Thiel talk about Bitcoin miner, like about Marathon Digital, and then also I think he did mention, I think, CleanSpark and Riot in the interview, and really just like how Marathon is positioned a little bit better than those other companies. I forget why exactly, but I think I think that they're just like, they're able to mine Bitcoin more efficiently, I think. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I just think that there's going to be so much upside for this. And so the call that I have that expires in January, I am excited for that to print, but I do think that maybe we bump into some resistance here and maybe pull back. And then so I'd probably add to that call, because in that video, I did kind of have it noted from a screenshot on what a wash sale is. I thought a wash sale was like if you sell something and then buy it back, sell something at a loss and then buy it back, you can't count that loss for a tax deduction. But it says, maybe I think let's see, a wash sale. I think this is probably what I had pulled up. This I really don't like. So a wash sale is a transaction in which an investor sells a losing security to claim a capital loss. So that's what I did by buying a different Mara call and then selling the March one at a loss. And then so within 30 days, it says before or after the sale, they buy substantially the same securities. And so it's like before the sale, what the hell? And so this, to me, it just makes me think, and it reminds me of whenever I look into details about tax loss harvesting and stuff like this, there are just so many things that, like, I feel like the fine print is written in a way to kind of screw over the average everyday retail investor. And so it's like, because I bought a different position, like on the same day, but before I sold at a loss, I'm viewing that as like, it's not going to be a wash sale because I didn't buy it after I sold it. I bought it and then I sold, I had a loss. And I'm not planning on buying for 30 days, but it says within 30 days before or after the sale, they buy substantially the same securities. And so I don't know if that screwed me over, because I would have had a tax loss of like $400. And so, yeah, whatever. But fine print, good to be paying attention to that. And I guess I kind of screwed it up in what I was going over in the video, but I included that screenshot to hopefully clarify. And so I got some other requests, and Benjamin, yeah, I will add Blink to the list. I have just Saul had a couple other requests up there. I was going to type Saul there, Blink. So I'll add that. Well, actually, maybe I should just go over Blink now. That relates to ChargePoint. And so this is a higher price than ChargePoint. And so maybe what I want to look at is some options data like I was looking at with ChargePoint. So I'll do that in a second. But yeah, I still feel like, because, really for this inverse head and shoulders pattern to play out, we don't want to see any price action below 138. If price goes below 138, then the head is invalidated And because you can't have, it'd be like, I can't lift my shoulder above my head. It doesn't matter how hard I try. And so that would invalidate the head and shoulders pattern, or inverse head and shoulders pattern here. And so actually, rather than putting a line there at 138, I'm just going to adjust this to be, I'll say 139. Because maybe it dips down to below to 139, but it doesn't hit 138. And yeah, so that'd be nice to see this, a big red candle that was on the 14th, down 6.5% on the day, so it doesn't look that good. Consolidating here inside bars. Really, this just looks to me like some indecision. And also, where do I'm going to, in an attempt to clean this up, I'm going to remove the 618 and 65% retracement. So we just got that one level there. And also I'm going to delete this yellow line because we are trading below that. That's at 150. Just to clean it up some. I do have this other line at 148, which is the low from over here on November 20th, it looks like. And so, yeah, this is just a retracement to the 786, as you can see right there. And so hopefully that holds. Hopefully this starts to go up and form that, get up to the neckline there. But yeah, let's look over at some options data that might give us some insight into what's going on. Kind of like similar with ChargePoint, where there's more calls being bought, more puts being sold. So generally that's a good look. It's a bullish look. Let's look at Blink. And this is just going to start looking at the 1 day. And so what we can see is this is similar to what we were looking at with ChargePoint, that we see the net put premium coming down, being negative, whereas the net call premium in green here goes, it's kind of flat and then goes up towards the end of the day. So from Friday, the 17th, we saw net put premium go down by 29,000. And the net call premium, this is a good luck number, 6.9 thousand up. So that's good. And we see the volume in green here, that's positive. And so, I realized this over the past, I guess, maybe 5 days. I was thinking about this, I think, on Thursday last week, that, if you see all of this net put premium that's negative, that would suggest the selling of contracts. Why would the volume go up? That doesn't really make sense, because if you're selling, the volume should be going down. But what that means, as far as I understand it, is that there's net selling of very expensive puts. So the amount of volume that drops is actually not that much, because they're expensive contracts. You can sell a few, and that doesn't affect, I guess to influence the premium, you sell a few, and that doesn't influence the volume very much. Whereas if you're buying a lot of cheap calls, buying a lot, that is going to influence the volume, and that's going to push it to be positive. So this suggests, selling of a few number of expensive puts, taking profits because those puts were probably bought at a cheaper premium, and then they're sold at a higher premium, and there are fewer contracts relative to these calls. And so that doesn't make the volume traded on the day negative. And then you have, the call premium going up. And then if we look at the little bear bull slider just above my head here, this is 64% on the bull side, and about, the opposite of that, about 1/3 being on the bear side. So this looks good, cleaner than ChargePoint, I must say, as far as this looking like a more bullish signal. But actually, let's see. The net put premium came down by almost 30,000. And if I just look over at ChargePoint, just to kind of compare, the net put premium came down by about 50,000. So Blink looks better in that sense. Also, the bear bull slider, it's behind me. It's over here. If I scroll, you can see it. It's not 1/3. It's close to 50-50, but more on the bull side. Whereas Blink, as I just mentioned, it's about 2/3 on the bull side, so that looks good. And then if I switch over to the 7 days here, just so we get kind of a bigger picture view, this doesn't look so good. A lot of put premium going up. That's a net put premium of 48,000. But it's possible that a good, but with that, you don't see a massive increase in volume, whereas you do over here. So this doesn't look insanely bearish or anything. You also have call premium going up. So yeah, I think that for the past 7 days, ChargePoint looks a little bit cleaner as far as overall being a more bullish signal, but generally both have a more bullish signal with puts being sold, calls being bought. So that looks good to me. But also, with these cheaper stocks, there's not that much money behind them, not millions of dollars behind them. So you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I'd still say this remains the thesis. And then I just look for, I've got the alert at 139. But really, if there's any price action that goes below, I'm just going to change this to 138, because if it hits 138, then that to me kind of invalidates it. Yeah, because even the question of a shoulder being above the head, that's not possible, but I can't even get my shoulder to be, at the top of my head. So if it came down to 138, I don't think that'd be so good. So I think that, we're going to see it just how I've drawn it out here. If this does play out, getting up to here and then ideally consolidating above that trend line, which would be getting up to around $1.80. And then I'll come back to the other ones that Saul was requesting. And actually, wait, before I do that, Chris with a K has been waiting for XCN just for me to go over it in a longer time scale. So I might just do that real quick. You say bigger time frame, looking at the monthly on XCN, playing long-term RSI. Do you see any good possibility since it was so oversold? So let's take a look. And so I need to add the RSI here, I think indicators, relative strength index. So I don't know why I have 2 of them. But yeah, I've got 2 of them there. Oh, I can just delete that. So now I just have 1. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. But yeah, so I see it being as overbought, not oversold. So this is on the daily though, but on the daily I see that it's oversold. So I would not be surprised if it came down to like 0.6 cents. But if you want me to look at this on the longer time frame, I might just delete these retracements just to clean it up a little bit. And then you were saying you're looking at on the monthly. And so I'll pull it up on the monthly here. 1 month. So this is on the log scale, I believe. If I switch it over to the regular, I don't know that this is from Kraken. I don't know if there's a better one for me to look at. Coinbase, same. Crypto trading view. So maybe this is more information. I'm not really sure. But this does say Onyx Coin, like what you're talking about. But does this look the same? Let's see. Yeah. So I might just do this on the, wait, that's not, okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of experimenting with the different ways that I can view it. If I look at the trading view one, I don't know how much of that's good back there. But yeah, so this is the 1 month. And what I might do is I might actually look at it on the week time frame. And yeah, because I can't really do an extension, because that would be like from here to here and then up. And then so that would suggest an extension to the downside. But yeah, I mean, I guess, what was I saying as far as levels go? 55 cents. I think I mentioned that. And so I might switch over to the daily just so I get a little bit more. And so I might just do a... How did I draw before? Just going to undo it. Oh, well. Yeah. I want to go back over to... I think I was looking at it on Kraken. I'm just going to undo everything that I've drawn. Okay, that's what I wanted to look at. So this, I was kind of suggesting, yeah, I mean, like 100% extension from this move, shorter term, is 6.5 cents. The 786 is like 4 cents. And so in between there is about 50 cents. And also that just kind of makes sense. And so I will kind of try to copy that over here because I think that, you know, like the low from over here, I guess when it was issued, is around 50 cents, I believe, 44 cents. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable target. And so what I had drawn before, and you know, I'll do this blind. Actually, no, I'm not going to do it blind because, well, maybe we can do it all the way from the low and see if it gets us up to there. So this is just kind of approximate from lows over here. Actually, no, I don't want to do it like that. I want to do it from the high here. Right around there. Oops. So I'm doing an extension. No, I want to do it from the low. So draw it here to the low. And that would give us a level to the upside. So yeah, I'm going to draw it approximately from the bottom here up to the high here. And then down to the lows there. So actually that's fairly ambitious to get up to 45 cents or 4.5 cents, 20 cents. But really, I mean, this is like, yeah, I don't know. I think it could be coming back to like 0.6 cents. That would make sense. I keep saying sense. But yeah, so another thing I can do, I think what I'd done, the other one, just draw Fibonacci extension here to the high here and then down to that low. Being approximate. And, this is on the log scale. Oh, no. Yeah, so I was kind of doing an assumption. That's what I was doing. I was doing an assumption that, actually, yeah, if it, you know, we got the low over here on December 20th and going up to this high. Let's say it pulls back to, what was I saying? I think 0.6 cents. I think 0.6 cents. Yeah, so right around there. That's kind of my thesis because that would be the, I think 50% retracement. And yeah, that kind of straddles the 100% and the 618 extensions kind of straddle 5 cents, 45 cents. Or 4.5 cents, which was, you know, basically when it was issued out, I guess. So that's like for the year of 2025, I feel like a feasible target for XCN is 4.5 cents, but it I think that it's probably going to pull back before then. And then if we look over at what Bitcoin's doing right now, maybe, the bottom's in, it's not going below 100,000. My order at 99.9 thousand is not going to get hit. And that's fine. I don't care. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful with the Onyx coin. And so monthly, yes. TradingView has a chart with limited price action on larger for sure. Yeah. But yeah, like really just looking at the chart for where it goes back to. It's kind of like this was issued in 2022, I imagine. That's what this means. I'm just not as I'm not familiar with looking at such new coins. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, yep. You're welcome. I don't. It's not a bad habit, I don't think. But whenever people say thank you, I say like no problem or like no big deal. But I should just say you're welcome. But yeah, I mean, there's just not as much data like this. 2022 was the middle of like the stock market bear market, and so this just was issued into that and came down. So there's really not much data on how it would perform in a bull market. So this is like Onyx's first bull market. But with that being said, I think that this is common with stocks, whatever price they IPO at. If they do go below it, then that IPO level becomes a huge level of resistance because, a lot of people who are like, I think this happened with Robinhood maybe, or maybe it was Coinbase, where just a ton of people, Coinbase, Robinhood's going to go up. They buy an IPO or GPO or whatever it is, and then price goes down for maybe years. And then when it gets back to that IPO level, they sell. They take a breath of fresh air. And so that could be the same type of thing with Onyx. Like the 100% move is to 5.5 cents, somewhere around there, above 5 cents, let's say. But it might be bumping into some real resistance around 4.5 cents or maybe like 4 cents. That's more than a 2x from right now. And also, too, I think it's, from watching the Wolf of All Streets, which is Scott Milker. I post some stuff to his channel every once in a while. I been aware of him for a while, but just more recently started watching more crypto type of stuff. And I find his coverage to be really good, the people he chats with. But he was talking about a couple of weeks ago how like if you're up, 5x, take some profit, don't ride it until the end, because you could be riding it all the way down to the bottom. And, that's no good for anybody. And so just like from the lows over here up to where it's currently at, that's up almost 2,000%, which is like, more than 5x up. And so, I mean, we could even just take a measurement from, the lows over here to like current price. That's up 10x. And so if it does go up to like 4 cents, let's say, consider that there might be a lot of other people who bought lower. And so it's like a 10x for them. And so if like you're up 3x, maybe it's up 5x for others and they start selling if they're going with this idea of like taking profits at 5x. So always good to consider what the entry is that you have. And if one was to buy at the 0.6 cents level, so like a 50% retracement here, and then getting up to that level, that is about, 600% up. So from that level, that might be a good way to I think 5x would be 400% up. Well, yeah, because 100% would be a 2x. And so if we go up to, let's see, 400%, that'd be like a 5x. And that would be getting to like 2.5 cents from that 0.6 cents level. So that's 6 times 4 is 24. So yeah, but that's, trying to think, you're multiplying that. So 6 to 12, that's a 2x, then plus 18. So yeah, this would be, I get confused with how this works because, 100%, that's a 2x. And then a 200% is a 3x, right? No. What the? So I'm getting confused because of all the decimals. So this is 0% at 0.6 cents. Then we go up to like, oh yeah, so it's, yeah, okay, so that's 12, and we want to see 18, and then, so that's 3x, and then 24 would be 4x. I hate this. I hate math. I wish that like 2x was 200%, not 100% profit. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. I feel like that is a good move. So don't be greedy. And that's like thinking about this, later into the year, and kind of like what I'm thinking about. Maybe I'm just going to ramble about this. This is kind of like my risk management with this kind of stuff and trying to think about it. I talked about this done a video on this. I think it's the one where I have a conversation with Grok. And, like Bitcoin was hitting the highs here in April. And then in this, high over here, this was 2017. Wait a second. What am I thinking about? So yeah, so we're in 2025. And so 4 years ago would have been 2021, which is the double top here. And then I guess maybe I was thinking about Doge. I was probably thinking about Doge. But yeah, for 2017, which was 2 bull cycles ago, Bitcoin topped the end of 2017. And then here, following this halving, Bitcoin topped in like April and then again in November. And so with Bitcoin, I think, I'll probably just pull it up in Webull. Doge. If we look at that, I don't know. So it's like this, 2024. Okay, so I want to go back. I'll switch over to the weekly time frame, and I might remove my drawings. So yeah, okay, so 74 cents for Doge. That was a high hit in May, and that's like a month after Bitcoin hit its high in March and April. And so for me, I view my Bitcoin as retirement. If I add more aggressively than my normal daily DCAs, it's just because I like Bitcoin. I'm bullish. I want to hold it long term. I'm not planning on taking profits anytime soon. But with Doge, I will take some profits. And I actually did take some profits at the beginning of the year at 32 cents, unfortunately. I could have waited a few days and sold at 40, but I was just basically selling whatever was in addition to the goal that I had set for myself. And I have more than that number of coins now. And so my plan is for this year, at the beginning of every month, to sell that additional amount of Doge that I have. That's above the target amount that I want to have, as long as it's more than 2x above my average. And I think it's pretty feasible because I don't buy that aggressively anymore. But we did see this top here in May. And so what I plan on doing, and I don't really have that big of a position. I was thinking about this probably like, I don't know, 6 months ago. Like, I have a pretty clear thesis on Doge. I think it's going to at least $1. And I was like accumulating a bunch here at like 10 cents up to 20 cents. So my average, I think, is around 16 cents. And I was thinking, well, I mean, this my thesis is pretty clear for this. Maybe I should just go all out and just put all of my money on Doge. But then you get emotions tied up with it. I'm really not emotional about any of my crypto positions, so I'm like really proud of that. I do have a good amount of Doge, but I'm also like want to have more, so I'm like going to be reluctant to sell it. But once May comes around, thinking about what happened over here, that, I might trim more aggressively. So not just the extra from the target amount that I wanted to have, but probably actually trimming into that probably by about 10%. And so May, if Doge is around, let's say $1 a coin, I think it'll go higher than that. But then it's like, okay, well, I should probably trim 10% of my position the start of every month, because at that point I'd be up, like 5x or so. And I should just be kind of secure in some of those bags with still having some remainder to hold if it goes to $2, $3, $4, whatever. And so, yeah, I'm kind of waiting until May to really start trimming. And in May, if Doge is around $1, I'll probably trim the alts that I have to the point of like not trimming them, just selling them to take that profit. And then that'd probably alleviate my desire to want to take profit so I could just diamond hand more of my Doge. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think that Doge, Vitalik Buterin, the CEO of Ethereum, he was saying, well, Doge could take number two. Doge deserves to be number two. So yeah, I mean, Doge is here to stay. And yeah, I mean, I think that it'll probably settle out. And also like with these cycles, I think maybe Bitcoin's a good example of this. I guess we did come down to, no, it was like, yeah, over here. So the lows over here, I guess we did come down to the highs, but people were waiting for this. That was being greedy. I was being greedy. I could have had a lot more Bitcoin. Yeah, it's not necessarily regret because I learned a good lesson, but I should have jumped on it when it came down to 20,000 and not waited. I was waiting for 12,000. Oh, well. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, people wait for it to come down to these levels. And so with Doge, I could see like following this bull cycle, it goes up to maybe like, let's say, a blow off top up to like $3. And then for the next bear cycle, people probably be eyeing like 74 cents it to come down to that. And maybe it does. Maybe it comes down to like 50. But they maybe be expecting it to come down to like 35 cents here, or like whatever the highest here. 50 cents. Yeah, maybe it doesn't. So, yeah, I mean, I plan to establish, I have enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably always going to have some Doge, just like I'm always going to have Bitcoin. But anyways, yeah, that's a lot of rambling. And so Chris with the K is saying, I got in at 0.13 cents, was wondering if you think it has upside potential. 0.13 cents, are you talking about with the one that I was just going over, which was XC, and was it XCN? Is that what I was just looking at? Yeah, but I want to look at this. So you got in at 0.013. Yeah, I mean, like at 0.13. So I'll just like, and I guess it really, like, cause I don't know anything about the coin, but yeah, I mean, but on the daily, I'd say it's overbought, not oversold, cause it's up here above 70. But like from 0.13, I think like, yeah, so like with price right here, that's up, 5x. What I would say, I mean, what I would do if I like, so I'm not up 5x with Doge. I'm up more than 2x, but like at the start of the year, basically at 2x, I trimmed a little bit. And I trimmed a little bit so I could use those trimmings to then dollar cost average into other coins that you could call them shit coins, you could call them altcoins, meme coins, utility coins, a variety. Basically, all on the not all, but most on like Ethereum, because I'm very interested in Solana and XRP and somewhat in Cardano, but the wallet that I have can't store those, so I kind of just avoided them just to kind of like limit my deer in headlights, just like looking at too many things. And so, yeah, but like even with Doge just being up like 2x, it's like, okay, well, I should trim a little bit. And so, like right now, being up this much, I feel like it'd probably be a good idea to trim a little bit just to like take some out of it, whether that's selling half of it, 10% of it, whatever, just to like have secured that, because maybe this ends up failing. Who knows? It's pretty new. But then also, I think that like I feel like the toughest thing, it's like the first cut is the deepest, by Cat Stevens, which I think is about love. The first time you fall in love with somebody, the first breakup is really tough. Same thing with selling. You fall in love with whether it's a coin or a stock, selling it is so tough. But if you trim, I like to trim out of positions rather than sell all at once at a specific level. If you trim out of it, it's like, let's say you trim a little bit at 1.2 cents. That's where it's at right now, basically. Then if it comes down to like zero point 0.6 cents, then maybe you'd be like, hey, well, it just came back down to a level that might be support. And actually coming down to like over here might be better. So this would be like 0.4 cents because you got this top over here. That'd definitely be some support there. But, maybe it doesn't come down to there. So maybe scratch that. But if it does dip, then it's like, well, took some out so I could put some back in. Or, it's just like there's less risk. You're less emotional, and that makes it better. And so I find that like the way that I've traded crypto in the past, I put way too much money in it and I ended up losing money because I got emotional. And now it's like I feel like I have an embarrassingly small amount of money in it. But when I look like I keep track of all that stuff in a spreadsheet. When I look at the spreadsheet, I'm like, man, I only put that much into Doge. I have a lot more conviction in it. But then when I look at my wallet, I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I have no emotional attachment because of the amount of gains that I've made, which is really just like a 2x. So it's not an insane amount of money. What you got here, that's a sizable increase. But it's like if you put like, I don't know, like I feel like $1,000 is kind of like a threshold for a lot of people who like, I mean, for me, it's like I feel like I have a small, like my larger positions that I have are like thousands of dollars, not really getting into tens. Some AMC, I have too much money in it. But like none of my crypto positions, I have more than like a couple thousand at most. And so that's like, it's a lot, but it's not that much. I feel like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I was like putting in too much money, thousands and thousands, and you lose your like you get so lost in the emotions of like, well, if I put let's say 10,000 on this and it 10x's, I have 100,000, I'm set for however much time. I live in the Midwest, it's pretty cheap, so that would last me a good amount of time. I'm also pretty frugal and stuff. But so, you start to think about that. You get so emotionally caught up in it. But if you trim a little bit, then it's like, well, I put in, let's say 1,000. I took out 500 after this big move or whatever. And it's like, really, I'm only risking $500 at this point. And, I think that it could come down super low and I'd still get my money back, or, risk losing 500, not an end the world kind of deal, So I'm an advocate, at least for myself, in trimming. And so I feel like at this point, it might be nice to trim a little bit. And then, you can, and then with that, you'd feel more comfortable holding, or I would feel more comfortable holding. I'll phrase it, like myself, I would feel more comfortable holding. But then also if it came up to, let's see, 2.5 cents, I'd probably be more comfortable with trimming a little more there, because, well, I already trimmed, a little bit ago, and it's doubled since then. So maybe I'll trim just a little bit more, and then let's say initially put in like 1,000 down here, trim 500 out. So now only risking 500. Then it 2x's from there. And then it's like, to get that additional 500 out, and you take the full 1,000 out, then it's like not risking anything, but then you're only trimming half of what you trimmed down here. So then it's like, then there's no risk. And then I'd be much more comfortable to hold the rest until, 4 cents or 4.5, and then maybe to 5.5. And then from that, it's like, do you want to be rich in the stock or the crypto that you're trading? Or do you want to be rich with, money that you can take to the bank? And of course, the dollar's being devalued. So do you want to be rich in Bitcoin? And so maybe these massive gains could be rotated into Bitcoin. And so I feel like that's like a really good play. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's just, I'm an advocate for trimming because it makes trimming more higher easier. And then there's less of a, what if I just hold and then sell it all a little bit higher? Or, okay, it got there. What if I sell it all a little bit higher? And then you just kind of like, what if? And then it doesn't get to your level, and then you hold it all the way back down. So that's kind of my thought process. Chris with the K is going on. Yeah, this is just a total psychology trimming rant here. Chris with the K is continuing on with research. Big players involved in this project. Visa, some big banks, BlackRock possibly. Real spill, brother. And so, yeah, so I don't want to dive too deep into the rabbit hole with like going into, because I actually don't do this with really anything, going to like the website of the whatever crypto. But yeah, if it sounds like you've done your research, you've got conviction in it. And so, yeah, this is, a person that, he actually just put out a video that I'll pull it up, but somebody that I followed like 3 years ago, kind of stopped following him and then started following him again. Crypto Rover. I just started following him again, and he puts out this kind of video, but he does really good analysis on Bitcoin. This actually, he put out this video when Bitcoin had dropped, and then by the time I saw it, Bitcoin had bounced already. So it's like, it's a volatile market. But he had just put out a video. I'll pull it up because I find it kind of amusing. I did not want to do that. Just go over to the channel. And if I go to subscriptions, he just put out this video, day in the life of a crypto millionaire in Dubai. And so I found it like kind of interesting because he doesn't really strike me as like too flashy in the videos that he puts out, and does good technical analysis, and also has like a pretty strong accent. His English is not perfect, and I feel like it's just like kind of really inspirational that somebody can be so proficient with explaining charts in their second or not first language. And so I always just kind of imagine him to like be doing this from like his parents' basement, because he seems like a pretty young guy. But then he puts out this like kind of douchey video on like day in the life of crypto millionaire in Dubai. And like, it's kind of interesting. I watched half of it and then just lost interest because I don't really care. But that's also like, you know, if you make a lot of money, like if you become rich, a good way to not be rich is to like to live like you're rich. And that's what this guy's doing. Just spending lots of money. But he's also, you know, a good technical analyst. He makes good videos, gets lots of views. So not only is he making money on trades, but also on YouTube. But I don't know what the somebody I found it. I saw it in the comments of this video. Because he usually, like, all of his videos are just technical analysis on Bitcoin. And then, you know, I guess he does a couple other things here and there. He was covering the Trump coin because, you know, why not? Melania, I guess, as well. I didn't watch that one because I don't care. But in this one, somebody commented like, great, now I'm unsubscribing. And yeah, I don't know. I find that to be funny because I don't think this guy really cares too much because he's clearly a successful YouTuber with the number of views that he gets. Definitely from what, you know, and the consistency that he has with his videos. Definitely making more than me. And, you know, he's definitely a good trader and stuff. But, I mean, he sees this in technical analysis on, you know, Bitcoin and like, you know, these other ones, you know, Trump, this is like kind of something that's trending, 70,000 views. These other ones, you know, around 15,000. But then he gets like about half of that in this day in the life of a crypto millionaire. But at the same time, I mean, if this guy's been successful enough to be able to, you know, have the kind of wealth and to be able to pay somebody to document like what the day in the life is, good for him. And, you know, for me, if I make it, you know, trading and stuff, I will not be putting out videos like this because I will probably just be pretty boring. But I find that to be funny. Anyways, I have been rambling on a bunch of tangents, and I should go over SABS and ATPC because I think those are really the only ones up here that I have not gone over and delete that. So yeah, I'll go over SABS first, which is SAB Biotherapeutics. And so for me, what I've kind of learned from Biora Therapeutics, which just went bankrupt, biotherapeutics companies can be very, speculative, risky, because maybe everything's going really well, maybe everything sounds really good, but maybe something gets rejected or, you know, whatever. They can make things sound good, but everything is actually not that great. So I think they can be pretty risky, but what I see from this chart, just like glancing at it, is if I can draw a parallel, I think going from here, it would not work. Yeah, it would not work. So I'm not going to do that. But if I do it from here, let's see, I'll do it from the low there. And then like up to here. Maybe I can do it to there. Yeah, that's not so bad. That's actually pretty nice, I think. So, yeah, they're down almost 1% on Friday, around $3.50. What I could see happening with them, I'll just draw it up, which I think Webull just updated the drawing tool, so I might not be able to draw this as nice. I could see this potentially coming down to here, which would be around like 325, and then maybe going back up to the top of the channel. That would be... Oh, and I want to draw that. I'm actually going to delete that because I want to draw it as an arrow because I want to see if, like, Webull screwed up how this would go. But then this is also be like coming back to those highs. So let's see how this arrow looks. That looks good. Okay. Last time I drew an arrow, it was super wonky. That's something that I could see, but maybe we do a Fibonacci retracement and see that it has come down to... Yeah, I mean, that's the 786, so that kind of makes sense. coming down to like 325, 323.4 is the exact 786 level there. And, with that being said, too, this is a double top here. Put in a lower high over here, getting up to $5.99.3. So a little bit lower than the high over here of 501. Double top. And also you can see there was a lot of volume behind this big move. Not as much volume here, so not enough support to get up there. So yeah, I could see it coming down to like 325. Maybe let's just out of curiosity throw up the 618. It's already come back to that. So yeah, I think that 786, make that a little bit thicker, make that light blue. I could see that happening, that corresponding with the bottom of this channel approximately, maybe 330. I don't know. What was the low on Friday? 332.3. But then, yeah, potentially getting back up here. But it could also, consolidate around the middle of it. So maybe it goes up a little bit more to like 395, but then maybe consolidates, that gets rejected, comes back down, then goes up. But getting up to here where the arrow's drawn, that would be like the middle of March. And, because I don't do this enough, actually, I'll just check. Are there options on this? There are no options on this. So I was going to look over at Unusual Whales, but there's no options to look up. So, yeah, I think 325 and then up to around 480. Maybe it doesn't get to 5. Maybe it goes past because this is an uptrending level of resistance. So, still respecting that level or, maybe going a little bit past it. Could be getting up to 5. So, yeah, hopefully that's helpful. And then I'll look up ATPC. I don't like this. That makes me a little sketched out. Also trading around $1 makes me think it's a little risky. I'm going to read the profile of this one because it's not too clear what they do. And so Agape ATP Corporation is a Malaysia-based investment holding company. The principal activity of the company is to supply health and wellness products, including supplements to assist in cell metabolism, detoxification, blood circulation, anti-aging products designed to improve the overall health system of the human body, and various wellness programs. The company offers 4 series of products. ATP Zeta Health, I'm not going to read all of that, but the thing I don't like about this is that they offer 4 series of products. Why not just focus on one, make sure that's successful? Because, it's like, you're just spread too thin. You're looking at all these things, and it's kind of like maybe this is a counter example of why that's good, or like maybe a bad example. But it's like how Elon is able to be so involved in all these different companies and them all be successful. And it's because it's like whenever a big problem arises, he then goes in, works with the engineers, focused on that big major problem until it's solved. And then he moves on to the next one, different company or the same one, whatever it is. But it's like that focus coming into the problem and solving it. And so ATPC, market cap of $5 million. I would be impressed with myself, but I'm sure it's possible that some of those who watch the channel have accounts that are worth more than $5 million. Maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. But $5 million isn't a lot. I certainly don't have that much money. I don't even have $1 million. But that's for a company that's just not a large amount of money. And so I feel like they're just spread too thin with 4 products, or 4, what do they say? 4 series of products. Yet just focus on one, get that to be successful, get your market cap, your value to be more than somebody's portfolio value. And, then let's talk. And so I just think it's too small. Maybe, this is appealing because this is a stock that can have, within the span of, 2 trading days, or really just 1 trading day, go up 150%. I should say within 2 trading days because, it was red the second day. So the second day it didn't go up that high. It came down from, that high. Well, I mean, actually, maybe I should be fair. It opened here. And so that, in the span of one day, went up 34%. So yeah, over 2 days, if it can go up 150%, maybe that's why this is appealing. I personally don't trade stuff like this. And let's see if there are options. There are no options. I find that options to be such an amazing tool for trading, for having a little more confidence in the trades. Let's see what this, I imagine a reverse split, 1 for 20. Yeah, I mean, like there's a spike over here, and then 2 weeks later, there was another kind of big move. But within those big moves, it could be just a bleed. And I think like kind of a nice example. So yeah, I mean, I guess before I go over to the example, maybe just do a retracement from here. It broke below the 786. Maybe it's going to find support around this level at like 124 because it has all that consolidation below it. So that's what I'd look for. But I imagine this is probably going to bleed more. I imagine this is going to need another reverse split. So I feel like long term, this is probably a bad decision. I feel like shorter term, maybe if this is your type of thing, it could be a good idea. But that's not the way that I like to go. So I think very risky. But if I do look up XTIA, that was one that I had gotten some requests for. And I think on multiple levels, yeah, this is, what was this? Reverse split, 1 for 250. So, let's see. Okay, let's do something fun. I had drawn some stuff here. I'm just going to multiply the levels by 250. So this is 4 times 250. So that's like, so let's see, 1 cent times 250 is like $2.50. That's like 10. 4 times, yeah, so 10. Okay, yep. Wait a second. 4 and 4. Yeah, it's just going to be a flat line if I adjust that. Maybe that's how I had it drawn. I don't know. No, I think I had it slanted a little bit. But let's see this. I think this was a downtrend. So 13, I'm going to need a calculator for that. So let's see. 13 cents times 250 is 32.50. So we see that there. And then this I said was 10. See, I mean, I had kind of drawn it like this, and I was just thinking like, it's kind of testing that level. I'm not going to be in it because it's going to be risky. It might just bleed. Maybe it pops, maybe it bleeds. And then I congratulate some people, I think on X. Congrats, because I had, covered this in streams. So going from like $10 to $60, that's a 6X. I would have personally traded it for, 2X and been happy with that. I didn't do that because I didn't know how long it would have taken. And that would have just been, a month, more than a month of just waiting for that to pop. Probably a month. I think I would have, considered getting in here when it was like breaking out from that downtrend. And yeah, but then let's say, it goes up 2X and you don't have a limit placed at $20, or maybe you do. And then on this one day, you get out at 2X. But then the next day, it opens up here and you say, crap, I could have had a, let's see, would that be a 5X? I get so tough with this math because like a 2X is a 200. And so 2X is to 20. So a 5X would be to 50. Opens at 50. And it's like, crap. I got a 2X. I could have had a 5X. And then it goes up to a 6X for you, hitting a high of $60. It's like, crap. I should have held, I'm going to buy back in. And then it goes back down, and then you get wiped out. And now it's below $10 after this 1 for 250 reverse split. Maybe it's never going back up there to $10. So I think it's very risky with this kind of stuff, unless it's like a clear and I would say conservative exit plan. Because you look at a chart like this and it's like, oh, well, maybe it could 5x again, but maybe it only 4x's. And then maybe you have the psychology of, well, maybe it doesn't get to 5x, so I'll set my limit at 4x. But maybe it only goes to 3x or 2x. So I think that stuff like this, it's better to be conservative with just a 2x or maybe a 50% gain. But then at that point, it's like, well, why are you risking something that this is an aviation company? And just like the therapeutics company I was just talking about, which is ATPC or whatever, this has a $7 million market cap, and they make aerospace. They make those, I forget what they're called, VTOL things. I don't know what they are called technically. But you only got $7 million market cap, and that's just, I would not want to be trading this, to be honest. And with that being said, because I would not want to be a long-term investor. And so if I would not be comfortable with being a long-term investor, I don't want to trade it. Because there's so many other stocks that are better fundamentals. Does this have options? Doesn't have options. So, yeah, I mean, forget about it. SABS, for me, I mean, there's a thesis here. So maybe you could play it, but I think it's like, I feel like there are other better, more backing to them. This is 32.5 million. So of these three that I was just talking about, XTIA, SABS, and ATPC, this one only has a 5 million market cap. So SABS seems like the better play of these three, and this seems like a clear, kind of plan. And there could be a stop loss level, if it comes down to whatever, $3 maybe is a good stop loss level. But maybe there'd be support there. I don't know. But all of these, these last three that went over, risky. I feel like Doge is a much safer bet because you just know it's going to go to $1. Like, the most ironic outcome is the most likely? Fate loves irony. What if Dogecoin replaced the US dollar? I'd like that. I'd be happy about that. I think that'd be funny. So yeah. And then and then I see some follow-up comments. And so Saul, no problem going over those. And Saul, Chris, I see your comment as well. I'll get to that in just a second. And so if you're seeing these, my eyes get tired. I wear contacts, and so staring at screens and being so animated for an hour and 40 minutes, my eyes get kind of tired. And so Saul's saying, definitely risky. My average is 342 with, I'm not sure which stock you're talking about, but I imagine 342. Oh, SABS. Yeah, so 342, I mean, that's not much higher than like 325, but I feel like 325, that would be like maybe it just bores you, for a month and like fades to 325. That could be something. And then it's like opportunity cost. You're not necessarily losing a lot of money with it, but that money could be placed elsewhere. Like the Intel, oh my gosh, Intel, I'm so excited about that. That's just like, for me, it was like, like the, I don't know what kind of a moment that would be when like the heavens are shining down on me and like, I can't sing, so I don't want to do it. But like angels singing down. I had that moment with Intel, like, oh my God, this data looks amazing. And so I feel like that's like something like that is like, you want to have something that like really like screams or sings to you. And so there's opportunity cost risk with this, but I think that this is a pretty nice setup. And then as far as ATPC goes, with picking it up at 127, so yeah, I mean, so I have this level at 124, so I'd keep an eye on that. But I just feel like this could be one that just does what it's done in the past, fade. And so it might take a while to maybe have another big move, or it might take a while to recognize, man, this isn't worth it. That's at least what I have learned for myself with stuff like this, so I don't partake in them. But yeah, I mean, as long as risk is managed and it's not overexposure, whatever, you manage that how you see fit. And so, yeah, and no problem going over them, Saul. And so Chris with a K asks, where did you learn your TA, if you don't mind me asking? And so for me, I'd say, I mean, I think, so this is kind of like, I don't know, a painful thing for me, which I think is like part of my personality, which I think adds to probably my liking of TA. But so like in grad school, a friend had said, hey, I think you might be on the spectrum. And it's like, I didn't really take it as too much. And then like, a year and a half ago, I had like kind of a short-term girlfriend. It was never planned to be that long. But then she had made an excuse for me with a friend. She had told me about this. And like I had done something odd. And she was like, her excuse for me was that she thinks I have Asperger's or something. And I could totally see that. But I don't think that's an excuse for someone to be odd, have odd behavior. I think that the odd behavior that I was displaying was, if you care a lot about somebody, you might do something stupid or, whatever for them. And so I effectively did something stupid or, socially awkward, whatever, because I cared about her. And then her excuse was to her friend, well, I think he's got Asperger's. I think he's on the spectrum. And so I find that personally to be offensive and hurtful. I find, let's see. I find the stuff like this, I find that to be, it makes me feel like it's a superpower, not like it's a deterrent. And so I feel like, anyways, because of that, I think I was able to, do well in grad school. But I think that it's also had some weaknesses for me, socially, whatever. But I think I just like zone into charts, numbers, patterns. I don't think I necessarily have an ability with them, but I think in some sense I probably do. And also one thing, I feel like not like as a social excuse, I'll get to like where I learned the TA in a second, but not to use it as an excuse for bad social behaviors or anything like that. But I do feel like, and I think that, it comes out from accounts like this, embracing it, that I feel like, I don't know, those who are on the spectrum, Asperger's, autistic, whatever, I feel like we're kind of like because I'm proud. I feel like we have kind of like a superpower. We're like the next step in the evolution of human beings. That, like Elon Musk, for example, the stuff that he's able to do, I think is because of that. And so I find that to be moving and inspiring. And I find myself to get very frustrated with people a lot of times because they just don't think about things logically. Like the pathway that they're thinking about to get to where they're going is just, to me, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. There's no logic behind it. Like you just have to take a step back, think about it. And it's like, that's not the best way to do that. How do you not see that? I've noticed I get frustrated with people. And anyways, I've learned a good amount. So if I come back to my channel or my subscriptions, Gareth Soloway, I followed him. I don't know why Gareth Soloway, Pro Trader, he added Pro Trader to it. Just do Gareth Soloway, man. Come on. And so I've learned a lot from him. He does every day the market's open, he does a game plan where he goes over the S&P 500, NASDAQ, the dollar, Bitcoin, other stocks, just as technical analysis. And so I just like watch his stuff. I take notes. I try to emulate what he does. And that's been helpful for me. And that's pretty much how I've learned. I initially got into more routinely, systematically paying attention to charts during the pandemic. There were a number of people that I watched that I wasn't sure if they were good or, just like the way that they talk about things. With Gareth, he goes over, the S&P 500, gold, oil, natural gas every day. So it kind of builds upon the technical analysis rather than just being like, look, here's a chart. It's going to go to the moon. Buy it, because that's like what gets a lot of views on YouTube. He just goes over technical analysis and follows up on the analysis. So from that, you can learn what works, what doesn't work, and maybe some of the stuff works for him that doesn't work for you. I find that he's more bearish than I think, which I mean is, being more conservative, being more, taking profits, securing those gains, and doing that repeatedly over and over and over. And so he does that all the time. But I think some of the stuff, he could have not necessarily a longer term outlook, but could see that he's being a little more cautious. But then it's like something goes up and then he takes profit as it pulls back. Like when Bitcoin hit 108 recently, he pulled back to to 92. He took profit on that, probably made money on the way down, and then has made money on the way back up and whatnot. And so he's much more active and engaged in and out. For me, the way that I learn, that's too fast paced for me. And so the way that he does this, going over charts on a daily basis, that really helped me out. And then just kind of watching what other people do. Others that, Crypto Rover, he has this like life, day in the life of a millionaire, but the videos that he does, he follows up on Bitcoin every single day. And I think that there's a good amount to learn from somebody like him as well. Let's see, Colin Gladman. I don't know. Yeah, above its head there. He does great analysis. So I'd follow him on X. He's a great person to follow. He doesn't post too much on YouTube. And so, yeah, those are a handful of accounts that I find really helpful. One on X that I've been really enjoying is Mr. Chart Norris. So you can see his page there. He just posts tons of charts. And he's also been posting a lot on, this is Trump. And he was actually like intoxicated when posting about Trump initially. He like admitted it later just because like, why am I doing this? Kind of funny. I think he's a Polish guy. I think he lives in Poland. I'm not sure. But European. He always, or actually, no, I shouldn't say. I think he's on the time schedule of, he goes to bed before I do and stuff. But he's been posting Intel. Oh my gosh. Until then, don't disturb me. January 19th. So he just repeated this. Yeah, I think it's going higher. I think it's going to 30. Yeah. I don't know. Where's Intel at right now? It's still down here. It's around 20. Yeah. I just did a video on it. I'm going to like that. But yeah, he just does like the charts that he does. It's like you can just look at it with no words. And he just has it so clear here. Okay, there's a double bottom here. It's been consolidating here, potentially in this downtrend. So don't panic if it goes much lower. but generally you'd think that it'd hold this and then break out. And that's what's happened. And basically the primary initial target is 2244 and then secondary 3017. So he just does really, really good charts, simple, easy to read. So I recommend following him. But then at the same time, it's like if you're just looking at a stagnant image, maybe it's a little bit tougher to recreate that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that this is really useful for charting, but maybe a little bit tougher to reproduce. And so that's why I think following people who kind of like live in videos do the charting, I think that they can be really helpful. Another person that I'm just going to see, here's Colin's account. I think he's great. He also like will troll people and stuff. Yeah, frankly, they need, yeah, this like, in all honesty, pissed me off. I had like in the past, yeah, I had somebody because he, was excited and, threw a hand up for a second, probably recognizing in the moment that in like waving to the crowd, hey, maybe that doesn't look so great. And, he's just being very excited. It's like, just like a child, a man child, just being so excited, has no control over his hands and arms. And, people suggesting like, oh, that he was doing, the salute. And it's like, no, I mean, that's ridiculous because, maybe you can get a screenshot, you can get an image, and yeah, maybe it looks like that, but you have to look at the intention. And that's the thing that the legacy media or the mainstream media has done for, since prior to 2020, has just been taking sound bites or images and then distorting the reality. And the reality is that Elon Musk is just so excited and enthusiastic, and maybe you don't agree with all of his views, but to, be saying this about people, sure. I mean, if there's like actual acts of hate going on, yes, of course, that's terrible. But if it's just something that's taken out of context, that's stupid. Anyway, so Colin's been reposting a bunch of this stuff because he's a big Tesla investor and people have been like giving him a hard time, whatever. I think he's a great person to follow, Colin_Gladman. And then another person, the Bronx Viking, also, he works with Colin Gladman. Ooh, swear word. And yeah, and does a lot of stuff with options. So I think that they're really good. He also posts a lot of really good charts that, are helpful with TA. Roaring Kitty, good, but doesn't really do too much TA, or at least not like from what I've seen, more recently, just been like pretty basic stuff, just, bigger picture. But I'm sure you could watch some of his older streams and that would be really good. Buck the Bunny, that's just funny. Oops, I didn't want to do that. This is a good video. But yeah, I wanted to pull up, I think, volatility. This guy, Talati Depan, don't know how to pronounce his name, but he does a lot of nice charts like this. And actually from some of his charts, I realized, this is, I don't know what this means, OB. I mean, you could look that up, but some of them he does like Fibonacci retracements or extensions. And that helped me to kind of, recognize, the way that he gets this level, I can do that. And so, yeah. So I think this might be, so this is, Fibonacci retracement going up to here, I believe, and the 50% retracement or 0.5. That's how you get that. So another good person to follow. And so, yeah, I mean, I just, follow accounts that don't like pump stuff and who just post charts. And like, I've been putting out less videos because like, I don't want to like pump stuff. And like the videos that I post, like the Intel one that I just put out, I think it's phenomenal. The Mara one, it's not phenomenal, but I think it's good. The options videos that I do every Saturday, I also try to go over technical analysis. I think it's phenomenal. They don't get a lot of views because it's not like pumping, what's the next thing that's going to do this over the span of a couple of days? Like, I don't know, but I think I can consistently take 20% profits on option swings. And if I do that consistently, I stack up a lot of gains. And so I don't care if I get views on YouTube, in all honesty, at this point, because over last year, I put in so much work. I'd be at work and then I'd come home, I'd crank out videos, I'd go back to work, I'd come home, crank out videos, go back to work. And that was just like my life a year ago. And it paid off. I was able to monetize the channel, but the most I had made in a year on YouTube was, in a month on YouTube was like 200 or 250 bucks. And so it's like, it doesn't matter how many videos I crank out, I'm not going to be able to make a living doing YouTube, but I can make a living if I get more disciplined with my trading. And so I'd rather just make videos that support that encourage that kind of behavior, taking profits. And yeah, so I mean, I try to follow people that, follow up when they make mistakes, or like that's my Mara video. I went over how I lost 500 bucks on it, but I'm still long and I learned from it. And that's, we're always going to make mistakes. And if it's always just, how do you get in here? And then how do you get out here? To me, there's no learning here. It's just like gambling. And I mean, all of this effectively is, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, anyways, I've just been going on a big tangent. Hopefully that's helpful. I'll follow up with the comments. I'll probably close the stream down because it's been about 2 hours. And I have jury duty tomorrow, which sucks. And yeah, so I mean, Chris, any of those that I requested would check out. Keep pushing DGen Ed. I definitely will. But I'm just going to try to do it in a way that, like, so kind of my plan, I think I'll be able to quit my job this year, which like by mid-year, and that will effectively be like I have in savings, so not my trading account, 6 months of bills, but then to be focusing on making a living by trading and not touch the 6 months of bills, but have that as like a security blanket. And so what I've been thinking about is, I don't know why I'm grabbing a pen because I don't need to write anything down. But just like, how do I have content that people know that the channel will have? And so I have Ticker Request Live, or TRL. I don't know if you guys ever watch Total Request Live with Carson Daly. This is Ticker Request Live with DGen Ed. Yeah, so that's like every Sunday, of course, unless there's a holiday. That's something I can consistently do. The options videos on Saturday. I don't know what time I'm going to have those videos out, but on Saturday, I'll have probably a 1 to 3 hour video on call options or put options, whatever it is. That's consistency. Sundays, Ticker Request Live. Saturdays, options videos. And then during the week, how can I have content that also encourages good behavior for myself, but also get some technical analysis out for people? And so that can be what I am going to do. I haven't made the thumbnail. Actually, I could make the thumbnail live if you guys want. I don't know if you're interested in that. But I like playing with stuff. I like being clever. So I got Ticker Request Live TRL. That's fun. Throwback to the 90s, I think. And then starting to do this like pre-market prep. And let's see, how can I might just make the thumbnail live, because why not? Okay, and so keep pushing DJ. Yeah, and then you say no learning, but I learned more about fibs just in this live 100%. I'm glad it's helpful. Yeah, and that's also why, like, I think a lot of my videos necessarily don't tend to attract that many viewers, because to be honest, when I make a video, I try to have all of the levels laid out, because if I don't, I'll forget to go over them. But I try to go over why it's this low, why it's this high, show you that that's the retracement that's there, and talk about the levels. Hopefully that makes sense. And then like people learn, at least I learn by repetition. And so if I say that over and over, I mean, I know that like the 618, the 786, I don't need to say that, but I say it out loud because hopefully viewers can learn more. And to me, that's more valuable than, like that's more valuable if it's reinforcing my learning, if it's reinforcing the learning of others, and then we're able to take that and apply it to make profitable trades. That's more valuable than pumping stocks that are trending to get views, to then get comments a month later about how somebody lost money on it or something like that. Heartbreaking. I don't like that. And I feel like with that stuff, I'm probably more sensitive than most. But at the same time, I don't get enough comments to be like so overwhelmed by them that I can't respond to them. I try to respond to them. But I know that some people can get like discouraged by a lot of the comments. So I try not to do that. But yeah, so I mean, learning, it just comes by, this more casual conversation. And, so that's I feel like Ticker Request Live is invaluable for a number of reasons. One is because it connects us. While I might not be connected to you and like seeing you speak and stuff like that, I'm connected to you in the live chat, so we're able to engage. So I feel like there's value there. Also, you guys give me a lot of good ideas for stocks to go over. Also think about, and talking about companies, going over profiles, during live streams, talking about market caps. I think that there's just like a lot more casual learning that's able to be done during these Ticker Request Lives, during the streams. So I really value that. I want to keep that. The options videos, that really reinforces my learning. So I'm going to keep doing those. And then, as I get better at identifying, oh, this is bullish or, oh, this is bearish from unusual whales data and or from the charts, then I can incorporate that into the pre-market prep videos where I will go over the S&P 500, I'll go over the volatility index, and I'll go over Bitcoin, and then whatever else that stands out to me for the day. And so I feel like that's a nice way for us to all, just be keeping up with this more routine follow-up. But like, I'll show you this because, it's like Ticker Request Live, TRL, that's fun. Pre-market prep, that's like PMP. That's kind of like pimp. That's kind of fun. But with between the pre and the market, there's a hyphen. And so I can do P-MP. That kind of looks like pimp. So I think that's funny. And then Chris is continuing on. The tickers everyone wants, but no one will look at, will kill it, brother. Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm going to try to do. And like, if I do a video, like somebody was requesting on X, that I got to go over DJT because, of course, Trump presidency, all this stuff. I think it's trading in the overnight. It's only up 1% in the overnight. And, I could see this happening, inverse head and shoulders. But at the same time, I could see it, being a sell the news event or something. It's too speculative. It's too, yeah. And I mean, I feel like a platform like X that's run by like the president, that's his, I think that there's some utility there. But for me, it's like, I like using X. I don't have a Truth Social account. I don't intend to get one. Just because I have X, that's enough for me. I really just use YouTube and X. And yeah, so I just like, to me, there's not enough like for me drawing to this. And I feel like a lot of people will get caught up, oh, like it's back at these highs, it's going to go up to here. And then they get caught, buying somebody's bags and sell off. So I don't know. It's like, I personally don't really like doing that. I like just going with the stuff that I see options data on. And so with that being said, DJT does have options, so let's look at the options data real quick. And so this is just, like what I did with Charging Point and Blink. Look up DJT. This does not stand out to me as being bullish just from Friday price action or the premium action, because we have stock price in yellow. It's up a little bit, but then it comes down, so that doesn't look so great necessarily. But let's look at the chart. It doesn't look so great, but it doesn't look so bad. You could do a Fibonacci here from I'll just do it from I could do it from 32.75 and then up to what I guess is the high here. But I could also do this, from the, basically right over here. So it's like, which one? It's like a 37.40 versus 36.84. I feel like maybe this is being too greedy with it going down that low. So, I'll just do it to from the low right before this big move. And so like the 618 is like 37.40, 50%. I feel like that's more likely than the 618, 38.55. And with this uptrend here, maybe it doesn't get to the 50%. Maybe it goes to the 382. And it effectively did. And that's going to 40. But I could see this going down to 39, like testing that uptrend and then maybe finding support there. So maybe it does come lower. So, I don't think that this is necessarily like the most bearish, but I don't necessarily think the bottom's in. Oh crap, I hear somebody moving a trash can outside. It's like tomorrow's Tuesday. It's not Monday. So I got to do that for myself. But anyways, looking at this, it doesn't look the most bullish or anything with the chart, but it doesn't look incredibly bearish. But if we look at the options data, in green, we have the net call premium. So that's up here. So that's good. But then at the end of the day, it sells off a little bit and then it ends up neutral. And so from the data over here, net call premium, NCP, is like 29,000, up a little bit. Not that much, up a little bit. But overall, what we see is that the net put premium is up 270,000, 272,000. So there are more puts being bought than calls, so that's bearish. And also, it looks like the net, like the volume over the course of the day was negative. And so that means there's a net selling of calls. I believe this is net in the volume, but I may be mistaken. And so that's negative. And so that would just make me think that, with the being net negative on the volume, there's still net buying of calls. And so this to me looks bearish. And if we look at the little bearish bullish indicator here, 45% on the bearish side, but it's about equal, so it's really just like 50-50. So this is like, not something that I would want to be like, I'm going all in on or I'm going short on. I would just want to I'm indifferent, at this point. But if I look over the past 7 days, we can see that price has gone up. Calls went up pretty massively here on January 13th. So the net call premium increased by 13 million. So that's quite a lot. But then the next day, net call premium was negative, but just by 3 million. So that's still like, call premium going up overall. But then it's just kind of flattened. So this to me seems like, especially with this volume, tons and tons of volume on the 13th, so Monday of last week. And so this just looked super bullish, but then price didn't really keep going up. It's kind of faded a little bit. This is all relative to the start of each day, I believe. Or no, the 13th. Yeah, it really went up. And then it just consolidated. I'll do a Fibonacci extension that's different than the retracements. And I'll explain that in a second. But this just it's gone up and then it's just consolidated. And with that consolidation, it's just really been kind of neutral, and with the selling of calls here, buying of puts here that are more so than the buying of calls. So I don't know, it's kind of, got me 50-50 on it. But what we can do is, let's say it does come down to, let's say hypothetically it comes down to, and actually it already did effectively. Well, I mean, yeah, so maybe I just move this to here. So it's really just like this 2 candle, and it did already retrace to the 3.8 or to the 50%. And then, yeah, so let's say the bottom's in, or at least, with the low from the 14th, which was 38.21. Okay, so let's say that's the bottom. That's in. And maybe it comes down to 39 though. But the bottom's in here at a low of 38.21. Okay, so where's the next leg that it could go if this is a bull flag? And so the way that I would kind of assess that is I'm, going up to the tool. This is in Webull, but, you got the same kind of tools if you're doing this in TradingView or other platforms. The Fibonacci retracement tool here. Just below that, I have the Fibonacci extension tool. And so the way that I'm going to kind of assess where price could be going is going from the low. So I'm just going to do it from the low of the 10th, go up to the high from the 13th, and then I'm going to pull it back down to the low from the 14th, which was 38.21. Levels might be approximate, but they're magnetic, so it should stick to the highs and lows, whatever. And so that should give me a 100% move to the upside. Another way to get that, which I'll show you in just a second, is by doing a measurement. So from that low to the high, that then becomes your 100% extension. And so I'm just going to move that to the low here again, just being kind of approximate. And so that should line up with the 100% extension. So if I take a step back so we can see the scale, so that 100% measurement that I have lines up exactly, miraculously. The magnetic setting here is pretty useful. Magnet mode. That lined up exactly here. You can see it highlighted on the side. That's, from that low of 38.21 up to the measurement of 47.87. That lines up exactly with this 100% move to 47.87. So pretty miraculous that was to the penny, because it doesn't always work like that. But, it might be a few pennies off, because, maybe I didn't draw it perfectly. But that's how you get that 100% extension, Fibonacci extension. That is from the retracement then up to the next level that it would get to. And that also corresponds pretty nicely with this high over here of around 54.68, being a little bit lower. Actually, no, scratch that, being a lot lower, 47.87, but the 1618 extension at around 53.84 or just below, that line that I have drawn there at 54.98 or 55. So let's say 53 to 55, something around there. Maybe it could be going up to that. And then that would be like this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And then from there, you could get another extension higher. So yeah, I feel like DJT could be going another $7 to $8 higher before maybe consolidating some more, and then maybe going from there another $7 or $8 higher. And then you notice that's increments of $7 or $8. And that's just, measured moves. And these like 100% extensions, stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully that's a little bit helpful in kind of getting to understand Fibonacci extensions. I find them to be really useful. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Let's see, just following up with the comments. If you look at the tickers, big YouTubers, won't you win for sure? If you look up at the tickers, big YouTubers. Oh, look up tickers, like, I don't know if that'd be like a category. So maybe like, yeah, I don't know if that's something I could look up on TradingView or just like in YouTube. But yeah, I mean, I could do that, but then it's just like, well, I mean, those, people already have a resource for those tickers. And, like for me, it's like, I'd rather focus on, the basket of stocks that I'm either personally interested and or invested in or trading, whether or not I'm invested in them. So like I'd rather focus on those than like, oh, DJT's pumping, it's popular, I'm going to do a video on it. And I've done videos on DJT and they weren't popular. And so it's like, okay, I've just invested time into something that personally I'm not interested in trading, so it doesn't add value for me. And it's also not really getting the algorithm's not distributing it or whatever. And maybe that's because YouTube's Google and they don't want to be sharing Trump stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and I've done that with like some, so what I found is that I enjoy doing this if I'm excited about the ticker I'm going to cover. And if I'm not, maybe it's like because it's something that's requested, so I'm not necessarily excited about it, but I enjoy the engagement, I enjoy the interaction, so that's fun for me. But if it's just like, oh, this is potentially pumping, and maybe I'm going to get a lot of views, I'll do a video on that. That, in all honesty, depresses me because it's like I get a lot of views on like getting a lot of views doesn't depress me. I get excited about that. But then it's just like, okay, well then I should follow up on it in a week or something. But then I think yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's beneficial for my best practices in trading and stuff. So yeah, I mean, but at the same time too, I work a 12-hour schedule that's like not consistent. It's not Monday through Friday. And so I just find it like really tough to have energy to be making videos. And because like a year ago I was working 5 days a week, but I get done with work at 2:30. And so I'd like come home, make videos, and be able to have a life. And I can't really like do that now. And so, once I leave my job, it's like I want to focus on, Ticker Request Live every Sunday, options video every Saturday, and then pre-market prep. And so I'm going to start working on that thumbnail. People are sleeping on me, bro. Yeah, and that's fine, because for me, like I was thinking, like, so I had started a channel in like 2015 when I was in grad school. I studied the ocean, and it was on. I tried to avoid climate change because I feel like that, and especially with what's gone on in California recently, I feel like that's associated with an agenda and it muddles the understanding of what climate change is, whether that's driven by humans or being natural, doesn't matter. And so I tried to avoid talking about climate change. And I just talk about climate science, how the ocean is an important part of that. But it just didn't get views. And I put a lot of time and energy into that. And I recognized I'm not going to make money with it. And then so like a little over a year ago, kind of like following up with this like breakup from this girlfriend, I was trying to get back into that other channel, but recognizing it's not going to make money ever. It's never going to, like, it'd take me so much time and energy to get it to that level. It's not worth it. So I started making videos on like documenting trades basically. And that was just fun for me. And I had also started another channel that was just like kind of an experiment. It was a failure. But with this, it's like, oh, okay, this is fun. I'm getting views. I think I can get the channel monetized. That's great. And then once I got it monetized, it's like, okay, I just want to see like how much money I can make on a monthly basis. And the most I could get was like $250 while having a job, but still cranking out videos. And kind of from that, and also getting some comments about, how, I was talking about a stock going up higher and it didn't. And then I continue to cover it because I'm interested in it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just disheartening. And And then from that, I kind of recognize, well, I mean, it's probably better that I focus more on options and shorter term trades rather than doing a weekly video on whatever stock, because that, I think, a community ends up being formed around that specific stock. And then that becomes a very tough community to break away from if you get to a technical level where it looks like it's topping. And like, not saying like a GameStop or AMC or anything like that, but GameStop just recently had a very technical level suggesting that the top was in short term, in my view. But over here, you got a double top, and this second high went higher. RSI was slightly lower, I believe. RSI on this high day was 65.9. RSI on this high day was 63.89. So you have a higher high in the stock price, a lower high in the RSI, so that's bearish divergence. And to back that up, you have a higher high in the stock price, and you see a nice blip in volume here corresponding with that high. But then when you get to a little bit higher, you actually see lower volume. So there's not as much volume supporting this move. And that's a signal that I learned from Colin Gladman, that this is a double top signal, that it's getting rejected from here. And sure enough, we saw it roll over. And so for me personally, I used to have a larger position in GameStop, but I got pushed out because I sell covered calls, which was a hard lesson learned there, but a good lesson. And, I've been reaccumulating since then, but I don't have as many shares as I'd like. And so I had a limit buy placed just to get one more share at 29 cents. But then I think on the 13th, I was like, well, it did dip to 31, and, maybe, okay, I'll leave the buy at 29, but I'll add another share at 31, and then just put my average buy at 30. And so then the next day, both of them get filled, coming down to the 618 and then also the 786. And it's like, crap, I should have just been more disciplined and waited for 28. And I should have trimmed a little bit up here to then buy back here. But it's just like, I don't have as many shares as I'd like, so it's tough to trim, especially if I think overall it's going to be going higher. But yeah, I mean, this could be cooling off down to like 26. Who knows? And that's fine. I'll just add a little bit more there. Pretty casual. But this was like a clear topping signal. And so I think it's like, if you get into like I've been doing like weekly videos on AMC, and I just feel I've got less conviction in that because of the recent dilution. And not everybody agrees with me on it, but it's just like, okay, that's fine. We don't have to agree, but we should at least respect each other's opinions on it. And my opinion is that fundamentals aren't as good as I had thought. And really, like, I'll pull this up. I don't know if you guys are interested in AMC or if you don't like my opinions on it, but this is actually something he was posting and I was commenting on it. So maybe it'll come up. Adam Aaron was posted about this. And so, this is something that, I think Horatio, I don't know if he'll be watching this, but he'd always be watching AMC videos. I'll like this. Why not? And so, Adam Aaron, CEO of AMC, said, as detailed in an AMC SEC filing, which was the dilution that was announced. I'll pull this up. This was dilution that was announced on the morning pre-market on December 6th. So where the cursor is, and what do you notice? And that was a Friday. And what do you notice? On the 5th, we had closed above $5 a share. And on that week, I think Max Payne was $4.50. And I can actually look that up. I can look that up in, I don't want to get too many tangents, but yeah, I mean, I just like doing this stuff. So if I'm streaming, whatever, I got to be up for jury duty though. That's so stupid. Let's see. What am I looking up? Unusual whales, drawing a blank. Just being angry about jury duty. And so I'm just going to go here just to go to the side to the ticker Explorer and then come down to the Greeks type in AMC so we can look up the historical Max Pain. And so what was the Max Pain? I don't know if I can go back in time with this. Historical Max Pain. So for December. Okay, so Max Pain was 450 and it closed on the 5th at 5.2. And then on the 6th, Max Pain became 5, but closed below it. So, yeah, I mean, that was just like, I feel like just a really bad move, which, you know, people have talked about like, well, you know, like very clear that Ryan Cohen is not a plant to bring down GameStop because he doesn't get paid and he's heavily invested in GameStop. Whereas Adam Aron does get paid in AMC shares, but he also gets paid millions of dollars. And so I could see it as he could possibly be a plant where a Wall Street firm is like, who's shorting AMC, like, hey, you have experience being a CEO. You should become a CEO of AMC. You're getting close to retirement. This will be easy for you. We're going to give you this amount of money each year. You also get bonuses and whatnot, and we'll give you shares so you can tell retail that you're one of the biggest AMC shareholders, so you care about the stock price while you're getting paid millions of dollars. As you drive the price lower by doing things like announcing dilution on a Friday morning before the market opens after we got a close above $5 before, you know, when the Max Pain was 450 and then up to 5. So it's like, that to me is crazy. And if I look at this on the hour time frame and I go back to that date, you know, when did we tank? So it's like this should be I'm not sure if this is, I think this should be East Coast time, but maybe it's not. But it's like trading in the like close at 5:20 on the 5th, after hours trading above there, and then pre-market trading at that level, 5:20 above 5, and then at like 7 in the morning. Yeah, this is the hourly, so I think 7 in the morning. That would be East Coast time, I believe. 7 in the morning, it tanks. I feel like that's when the announcement came out. And just tanks to, yeah. So I just feel like that's not a good look on a Friday because I pay attention to Max Pain and closes. And, you know, I was holding calls on this and, you know, I've managed to trim out of some of it, but like that just sketches me out. And so anyways, and this is following, you know, we're trading in this range from really like the low over here on this day was 410. And so we're effectively trading in a range following this big move in May, trading between a range of like $4 and $6. So 5 plus or minus 2. We're trading in that range for like half a year. And then on a Friday, we get announcement about a dilution when we're above a technical level, like as far as Max Pain goes, an important level as far as options go on a Friday. Like, so think about anybody who is holding a $5 or $4.50 strike call that expired that day on the 6th. The close was 473, so 450 strike closed in the money. So I'll give them that. But it closed below $5. And so I just don't think that that's good. And then if we come back to what he tweeted here, as detailed, you know, in our 50 million share at the market. Well, sorry, I'm just getting ahead of myself and reading this. As detailed in an AMC SEC filing that came out on December 6th, our 50 million share at the market equity offering has been completed. And so he announced this on January 18th, and it was completed on the 15th of January. And so that was over here, the low here, 321 was on the 15th. Okay, and so, over here, see all of this red. And so I would think, okay, well, they're probably selling as it's coming down, taking a break from selling, consolidates, and then they sell a little bit more, it's coming down. Okay, I accept that. They probably sold at an average of like $4. Okay, that was the low in the range that we've been trading over the past 6 months, but okay, $4. And then he says, we have raised at least, give him the benefit of the doubt there, $184 million of additional cash prior to commissions and fees. So that's before commissions and fees. So let's say $180, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say 184 after commissions and fees, and considering that there's probably more than that. And so I'm going to pull up the handy dandy calculator, and we're going to type in, let's see, 184 million. So 184 million. And then I'm going to divide that by 50 million. So 50, 123. Divide that by 50 million. And so that should give us the average share price. And I would like that to be more than $4 a share. If it's above $4 a share, I'm happy. It's not. So I'm not happy. I'm not happy about this. I don't think it was a good move, and I don't think this is something to be bragging about because cash is king. Okay, great. I accept that for the company, that is good. But Adam Aron's getting paid more than $1 million a year salary, plus getting bonuses, plus getting shares that are being devalued, but he's making millions. As we're retail, losing money, holding shares and buying more shares. And then he's bragging about cash being king, selling at a price of $3.68. So if we look at this, that makes me think we weren't selling that much here. We weren't even selling that much here because that's above $4. We were selling. Actually, I should probably put a line there at, so I'm going to do it from when the announcement was made. And I'm going to do it at 368. 368. So, you ask yourself, is that a good level to be raising money? I guess so, because current price is below that. But, that just why are we selling shares at 368 when we could be selling shares over the past couple months around $5 or $6 or above $4 at least? So that doesn't make me happy. And it's all right for me to not be happy. And cash is king. He always says that right before he rugs us. And so and you think about it, if he's making more than $1 million a year salary, how many people holding shares, how much of that money goes into just paying his salary? A lot of people. And so it pisses me off. We realize from the vitriolic messages on X that some of you don't approve, but I cannot emphasize enough that it is absolutely vital and crucial for AMC to have robust cash reserves. If that's true, then sell up here. Then let it run and sell it up there. So anyways, that just pisses me off. I made a 2-month thesis video, and so I'm sticking to that. I don't want it to fill this gap down here. But anyways, I need to make the thumbnail. I'm going to do it live, and I'm not going to get distracted by any more of my ramblings. And so what do I want to do for the thumbnail? And so this is how I make my thumbnails. I say a claymation chimpanzee wearing a sweater with stock market designs on it, and wearing I'll say wearing a bow tie, bow tie, and a sweater with stock market designs on it in a courtroom serving in a jury. So let's see what happens here. This is how I've been making thumbnails recently. It's just fun for me. And so sometimes like the eyes get really intense, so it's like that's kind of good. And but this is kind of good as well. Like, I just don't like the scene. I think that this is a better seat with the, the people in the background. And basically I just do this over and over and over until I get one that I like. And so tomorrow's the 21st, so I'm just making a folder on my computer to then save this image and then just move it into that folder. And also, I like this one better than this one, so I'm not even going to save that one. And so I'm just going to, repeat this, regenerate. Maybe I find something that's a little bit exciting. Maybe I get an idea for something to add to this. It looks a little too Christmassy. Yeah, this looks Christmassy. Doesn't look, sweater says stonks on it too. So this is me making my thumbnails, just doing it live. Stinks. I like this one. It's funny. I like this, but it just says stinks. So yeah, I might save this one as well. These are just too Christmassy. And this is one thing that like Grok does that I find like it makes me feel very uncomfortable, is it does this kind of like weird ropey pattern. And yeah, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. Like it's somewhat alien. And not Christmassy. Not a Christmas sweater. A stonk sweater. Include SPX, VIX, and BTC. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I don't know what this is. This is kind of like, it's kind of intense. This one, oh my gosh. VIX. It doesn't say stonk, so it says STC, BTC, VIX, SPX. So I like this. But it'd be nice if it said stonks. So I might do another regeneration of that. Yeah, like I do this like 10 to 20 times to make a thumbnail, but it's fun. And while it's loading, I'm just going to have a little sip. I don't necessarily like any of these. His ears are too big, but he's definitely serving in the jury there. Doesn't have enough fingers. This one he looks too old. This one, I don't know. I don't like these enough. But I'm curious to see what's next. Maybe I could make a sweater design someday of the heat map of the stocks and stuff. This says BTC doesn't have the VIX. I'm gonna keep going. One of these will be perfect. I just know it. And man, I need to get to bed soon because I got jury duty tomorrow. But I got to make the thumbnail tomorrow, so this is like, you know, a 2-for-1. I'm not necessarily streaming anymore in that sense. Stonks, stonks. BTC, VIX, stonks. And the SPX. So I don't like that, but this one might be the winner. He looks a little creepy though. But I did say claymation chimpanzee. Yeah, but it says the SPX that says stonks, VIX. So I think I like this one, but I'm going to keep going. And then I might end with a photorealistic prompt. Just to see, maybe, you know, I could get something that's photorealistic. Not a Christmas sweater, a stonk sweater. Oh, no, I wanted to say that he's in the jury. And this looks like a race car driver or something. He is in the jury, not on the stand. I don't know if that's a saying. Hopefully he's not standing on something. Batonks. This is cute. Oh, I screwed up the sweater there. I see some live chat. Any chance you can take a look at Solution Tech? I'm not doing any more requests. I'm just making a thumbnail for tomorrow morning's stream before I have jury duty. So I'm just doing it while streaming. So I'm not going on it over any more requests. But let's see. This is a fun sweater. Stonks, SPX, kind of like BTC, VIX. Too serious. Sometimes I like not creepy, cute. These are not necessarily, like I don't want to make them too cute or something. So I'm reluctant to put the word cute into this. Yeah, because like stuff can get too cute. That makes me uncomfortable. Stonks, BTC, BTC, stonks, SPX, VIX. This is kind of good because it has what I'll be covering. And I could crop it so it doesn't say BTC twice. So maybe this is... So this is another one that it's one to consider. This is like the fun process of me making thumbnails. Using Grok, which has just made making thumbnails so much more fun for me. I got stupid jury duty in the morning. Stonks, Vix, SPX. This guy's cool. Whoa. That's cool, but I don't think it's gonna work. Stonks, SPX, Vix, BTC. So yeah, I'll save this one as well. I don't think it's gonna work. And then let's see. Let's see. Maybe I'll just do one more like this, and then I'll do like photorealistic and maybe something crazy. But yeah, sometimes when I ask you to do chimps, I think that's why I do, yeah, because it's like, that's creepy, you know? Less creepy. This is one of the most common things I type to Grok. Less creepy, more cute. Not always the more cute, because then it just gets like too cute, and it's not so good. So, yeah, I mean, this is cute. Like, look at those eyes. That's a cute little guy. Let's see what his sweater looks like. Stonks. That's nice. SPX VIX BTC. He's a little too young, though. He is in the jury. Yeah, this looks like, that's like a puppet. It's so weird looking. Oh, these are getting like too cute. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I hope his sweater is cool, because that's just funny. That's a cool sweater, man. Okay, I'll do one more. And then I'll do photorealistic, and then I'll just make the thumbnail. And they're all little like claymation people in the back. SPX, Stonks, VIX, BTC. I kind of like this one. And then, you know, I'll decide which I like most. But then I'll just do photorealistic. Let's see, this will probably be creepy. Even though I've said less creepy. Stonks, nice. Kind of intimidated by this guy. I might do one more. And then ooh. No. That's kind of nice. It's clear, but I think the one that I'm going to go with, let's see. Because he's like not happy in any of them that I made. And there's one, oh, actually. Yeah, he's not happy in any of them. This is probably the one I'm going to go with. I like that one the best, I think. So now I'll go to I use PowerPoint to make thumbnails. And so I'm just going to background space. And so I will do it like this. This might be tough because I got to fit it all in there. And, you know, I can crop the bottom a little bit. I'll just move this up. So he's scrunched a little bit. And then I was trying to figure out, you know, because whenever I do these, it's like I have to like adjust this based on, you know, wherever his sweater is or wherever there's some open space. But I think what I need to do is just have it kind of like blocked out. Maybe, oops. It's too much, yeah. So I'll just leave it like this. And then rather than having it like a shadow, maybe I want to just like highlight it, but do that in you know, a color that people can see. And maybe I, you know, I'm just thinking like how this just doesn't look very interesting like this. So maybe here, unhighlight that part. Maybe I can make this a different color. Pre-market prep. Yeah, so I think that's like kind of fun. And I can add spaces. Oh, no, I guess not. I was thinking I could add spaces to make it go longer, but... And I can make them like different colors. So maybe this one could be red. Pre-market prep. That's just... Maybe I want to do... Here, maybe I'll make this a navy blue or something. And I'll make this just, I don't know, like a deeper red. Or is that too dark? I don't know. That to me, that red is just too dark. I mean, too bright. Hurts my eyes. Got this purple here. Pre-market prep, or was it better? Like, I mean, I could do black. I don't know, is that kind of nice? Maybe I could just make it like gray. Make that purple. Pre-market prep. I don't know. I think the gray is kind of nice. Make this. Oh, well. Pre-market prep. Maybe I can make this green. Maybe that would be appropriate. There's just not. Yeah, pre-market prep. And yeah, I don't know, but like, will people take that seriously? I don't know. The goal is for people to not take me seriously. Pre-market prep. Tomorrow it's going to be a little bit shorter because I got to go to the jury duty. So if I had done blue and purple here, and I had done blue and purple here. Maybe I should do that. It's like blue and purple. So this, you know, need to make that white. I'm making this blue. This one purple. And maybe I want to make that spacing a little spread out more. There we go. So there's some overlap, but not a ton. And just to kind of, you know, make this a little bit more fun. I'll make this like that. Or maybe it should be the other way. Like this. Or maybe that's just too much. I think it's what it is. And tomorrow is the 21st. Hopefully these lines aren't there. But anyways, that just looks like it's centered in the end, so I shouldn't really worry about it. And I should probably do a drop shadow with this. And yeah, maybe this should be a little bit more serious over here. Maybe I should just make this gray. Maybe make this black, this one lighter gray. No. Pre-market prep. Yeah, so I don't know if that's good, but then I can just kind of like leave those there and then I just move them around depending on what the video is and not have to worry too much about where they're located. So, but I think that this kind of contrasts too much with the shirt. And maybe I should make this bigger, like 72. And there's nothing on his shoulder there. So you can see that creepy guy looking behind him. Pre-market prep? Nah, I think I need to do it like that. See that as the title. And this one, I could probably make it actually smaller. And I think this should be recent colors. Why can't I do... Like I want to do more colors, so I'll do that one. I could do it lighter though. Yeah, I think this is like an example of me probably having OCD. But I just like this stuff. It's fun. It's too dark still. Maybe that probably match better. And then I'll make this one. I gotta do that to get the more color thing. Yeah, so I mean that's the thumbnail for tomorrow. And so I'll create that, and that means that Oh, and I don't want to, I got to leave early because I got to be at jury duty at 9 a.m. Eastern. So 8 to 8:30, oops, 30. And this is me having problems. I think this will look better. There we go. So, yeah, I'll go with that, and maybe, just thinking, this is again me having problems. Like, would it look better like this? Nah, I like it the other way better. I think that looks okay. So that is that. And with that being said, I'll post this link and you guys can check it out in the morning. I'm just going to do half an hour video. I'm going to go over the S&P 500, the volatility, and BTC, and then I'll probably close after that. And maybe I'll, just see other stuff that stands out to me. Probably the tickers that I normally go over in the options videos. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. If you haven't already, please make sure you like the stream. And if you're not, which I imagine all of you are, make sure you subscribe to the channel for Ticker Request Live. I do every Sunday or Monday if it's a holiday, before the market opens, before the week starts. And then I'm going to be trying to do pre-market prep every morning before the market opens. If I'm not working, I'll do a live stream. If I am working, I'll do it a little too early, so I'll just do a quick video and post that. And, and then also the options videos every Saturday. But anyways,